You're not. You're going to be scared shitless. You're going to be fearful, afraid to push the button, or do reckless trades because you're going to be waiting too long for confirmation. It already moved. And then when you put the trade on, it still might work in your favor, but it starts pulling back and have a natural retracement, and you're afraid. And you get out. And it still goes in your favor if you would have stayed in. That's what scared money does. So that's why I'm telling you, in this series, I really am pushing hard for you to have a very low threshold objective. Something that's so easy, and let money management and the compound interest do all the heavy lifting. You don't ever have to do anything more than just 5 handles in the index market. You don't have to do anything more than 25 pips a week. The money grows, and as it grows, you carry more leverage. The risk doesn't grow in exponential fashion. The monetary association to the equity will, obviously, because that goes with the game. The more money you make, if you're risking 1% of that account and the account is growing, that 1% will grow exponentially too. But you can't understand the effects of that if you try to rush through it. Just because you can get lucky and do over leveraged trades and you get this new equity high, all of you out there saying, I want to get a $500,000 funded account. The fuck do? You don't have any idea how to trade a $10,000 account right now. You can't even manage that risk. You're talking about you want $500,000 in a funded account. You want to be able to trade with $500,000 leverage. You're gonna die. You're literally gonna blow your brains out. More money is not how you fix this. It's more experience, growing gradually. I'm telling you, I'm fucking telling you, you are not gonna do a $500,000 funded account and do well. If you think you're just gonna go up there, pass the challenge and get that, on your first go, you ain't been trading for a year or 2 or 3. You think you're just going to go out there and do that? I'm telling you. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm telling you, don't think like that. You're doing it wrong. What's the lowest funded account? Go that route. Trade with that. Build that up. Because if you can't build that $10,000 or $20,000 leverage funded account up to a $500,000 account in 2 years, guess what? You sure as fuck wouldn't have done anything with that $500,000 account. You're not prepared for it. You have no idea what it feels like to be in those types of trades. That's why you see everybody, they put their little certificate up, said, I got funded. And then 2 weeks later, I blew it. I'm not talking down to you. I'm talking to you. Eye to eye. You're doing what I'm telling you what not to do. And so many of you are in line to do the same bullshit and hurt yourself and prolong this whole process. What's the lowest hanging fruit objective? Do that. And as the money grows, more money will be allocated to each trade. The percentage of risk is not increasing. That stays constant. And as the equity grows, the results will grow comparably. And you don't get sucked into this, I have to do it right now. I got to have it all right now. No, you don't, because you're not prepared for it. Mentally, psychologically, you can't handle it. You can't. You cannot handle that type of success. When a winning trade like that gets put on, you're not going to be able to sleep. You'll be out of the trade. I'm telling you, like no doze. You ain't sleeping. Like a crack fiend, okay? Scratching yourself like that Dave Chappelle meme. You want another hit. You want a little bump. Because it's exciting. And I've had that happen so many times on luck. And it's demoralizing when you realize that's what it was. And that's what you're creating. You're creating that habitual drug usage feeling in your trading. That's not how people do it that are doing this for their lifetime. Career traders are not looking for that bump. They're working their business. They're running their business. They're managing their business. It's not casino time to them. They're going in with the intended purpose. They're not winging it. They're not being influenced by other people. They're not telling them it's not good enough. They don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. They're doing what needs to be done for them, because every one of us has a unique threshold for pain and pleasure. Some of you are a little bit kinkier than I am. In trading, you have to know where your thresholds are. And if you start stretching yourself outside those boundaries, which you're going to learn, as soon as you start trading with live funds, you're going to see how hard it is to hold on to a winning trade. But it's easy to hold on to a losing trade. Why is that? You don't want to submit to a loss. But you really want to get out of that winning trade because you think it's the only one that's ever going to happen to you. You found the unicorn, and you want to make sure you have evidence, and you want to bring it back and show it to your friends and family, your coworkers, your boss. Ha! Look at this fucker. You said I wasn't ever going to make any money. Look at this. Stick that up your ass. That's what you want. So what are you trading for? Outward validation. Professional traders don't give a shit what anybody else thinks about them, or their trading, or their abilities, or their model, or how little their threshold is that they go for every time they put a trade on. See, in the beginning, you have to have that structure. You have to have that limit placed on you. They're training wheels. And don't let anybody tell you that they're not useful or needed, because they are. Why else is everybody else blown out? Because they have no structure, no limitations placed on themselves. It's 2% risk, no stop. Let's go. And I have no limits on how many times I can take a trade. If I take a loss, I'm going to go back in again because I have enough equity, and I'll keep doing it until I can't, because I know eventually I'm going to get a winning trade. Not taking in consideration that they have no structure. They have no low-hanging threshold to make ends meet. So they're just going in to throw the dice and see if they get a win, because they know in their mind they're going to go in and manage that winning trade correctly now after taking 5 losing trades in the same day. The fuck you are. Folks, I'm telling you, these are things I did. Not just once, dozens of times. And you got to know that you're not going to be exempt from it. And believe me, this might be an uncomfortable conversation that you don't want to be listening to. You want to get to the part where it feels good. That ain't got kind of serious, folks. This is where the rubber meets the road. I already taught you how to trade. Now I'm telling you how to survive. Because having that 50 caliber Barrett, you could still hurt yourself. There's a whole lot of people out there that buy all the next best things and gadgets and things, and they still are useless because they haven't properly been trained. Your intelligence as a trader, just because you now know this model and you know what it looks like and how to find them, your intelligence as a trader is infantile right now. You're still an infant, you're a baby. And that's not a knock against you. You have to be aware of that. And you have to take baby steps. And then you start moving towards where you're walking a little bit more efficiently without anybody holding your hand. And then eventually you'll get stronger and more coordinated, and then you can run. And then you become an adult. And you have all that adult muscle and capability and stability and agility, all those things that lead towards you are able to do things that a small child can't. And right now, as a small infant in your understanding about the markets and your personal experience, you can't grasp the importance or the weight of the things I'm talking about right now because you haven't endured it yet. But once you do, these types of lessons mean much more. And that's why these yahoos that get out there and say, oh, these guys, he's just going on and on and on. He ain't talking about nothing. That's how you know they ain't made no fucking money. They ain't never made money. The people that don't want to have conversations like this and talk about these, this is the real world. This is what real trading is about. It's not pushing a button, winning. Hey, holla, up there on Instagram, look at me. Here's my rented Lamborghini. My rent flat that I don't really live in. Come on. Here's my fake watches. I ain't gonna zoom in because you don't see it's fake. This is the same bullshit, man. You guys like all that stuff because it's entertaining. Well, I'm not trying to entertain you. I'm trying to turn you into a fucking monster where you go in there and you say, you know what? I don't give a shit if you fire me tomorrow. I don't give a shit if this business I work for closes the fuck down next week. I don't care. I'm feeding me and mine. There ain't nothing you're going to do to stop me from doing that. Period. Nothing you can say about it. I don't give a shit what influencer on the internet says anything about me. I'm still going in here and fucking killing these markets. Nothing stopping that, and nothing stopping you as my student. Nothing. It's just air and opportunity between you and you getting that realization of that profit. That's it. That's the only thing separating it. But you have to make that move. And you can't do it just jump out there blindly. You got to have a structured approach to it. And you're all going to have a different approach, period. What's your low threshold objective? It might be $500 a week. It might be $100 a week. You might be a stay-at-home mom. You don't need a whole lot. The husband's taking care of everything. You got a big nest egg, but you want to do this on your own. You want to contribute. You want to feel like you're bringing something to the table. You know what? That's admirable. And you might be thinking, all I have to do is make $100 a week and then let that grow and build up. Man, in 2 years, you could still be doing amazing returns if you let the compound effect take root. But you have to submit to that part of that time. That's why, again, I get back to working with a year of mentoring. Mentoring for a full year is crucial because you're going to feel all those factors of downtime when the markets are just simply not willing to give you anything. And you got to know what it looks like. What does it feel like? Can you even tolerate that? Because there's a lot of students that came through my fold that threw it in and said, this is too hard. It's not working for me. And not listen to me, in my experience, saying we're in a period where it's not going to be high probability. Oh, he's always saying it's never high probability. Man, get the fuck out of here. I know when it's high probability. And I tell you, okay? And then when it is, it is. But if it's not, it's not. I can't make it not be high probability. If it was, well, let's just say Warren Buffett would be wanting to talk to me. Okay? I'm not a billionaire. Okay? I'm not a billionaire. Point is, you have to know what you're doing this for, what limitations you have to place on yourself, and not have any reservations about why you're doing it, and adhere to it. So ends, what is it that for you, what makes your ends meet? What's that dollar amount that covers all your bills, all your expenses, all your entertainment? That number has to be a specific number. Then inside that total month expense, they're your total ends. What's the lowest one? Maybe it's a better idea for some of you to start there. But you should be moving towards getting to the most expensive one. And I did a poll on Twitter, and I did a poll on my community tab on the YouTube channel. And I asked everyone, I said, what's your largest expense? Now, I already knew it's going to be mortgage or rent. Okay, that goes without saying, but I just wanted to make sure I had the data to prove to everybody this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. But everybody understands that's going to be the largest expense. So what is your rent? What is your mortgage payment every single month? That's your largest expense. So you might start with the smallest bill, like a credit card or a utility bill or some kind of expense, like a car note. Not that $900 is a small car note, because it's, in my mind, even with the money I have, yeah, that's a lot of money for a car payment. Like, we're not talking about like a BMW. I mean, it's a Tacoma pickup truck. It's nothing special, but it's a note. It needs to be paid. So how do you go in and attack that? And then each time you get to that threshold of meeting some low-hanging objective in your ends that need to be met, so in other words, whatever the lowest bill is, you start there, and then you graduate towards what's the next bill. If you're making that money, work up to the largest expense, which is either rent or mortgage. And then once you have that, even if it's 50% of that, that's a huge weight off your shoulders and an encouragement to your, as a trader, you're encouraged. You don't need anybody else to tell you you're doing the right thing. You don't need anybody to give you an attaboy, attagirl, pat on the back. You feel it because you see it, like, I know I'm making this money. And while you're building up your account, you're telling yourself constantly, I'm consistently working towards this. And it's growing, it's building up. I'm not trying to get rich overnight, wealthy, trying to floss in front of everybody, laced up. You know, this is not the time for that. You need to make sure that you have food in the house. You need to make sure that your bills are met, that your roof stays over you, your car stay running, stay fueled up, your health and expenses are covered, clothing, your children's needs are met, daycare. Good grief. I'm sure you guys that have to pay for that are paying out your ass for that. What if that's covered in your trading and that's all you ever got out of it? Is that failure? Think about it, folks. If you got your children's costs covered every single month, but you still had to keep your job, is that failing in trading? Now, if you ask the 20-year-olds without kids, fuck yeah, that's you ain't living. You're failing, because that's their mentality. It's rich or nothing, and that's their youth. That's how I was too. You have to have everything, or you had nothing. But when you have children, you have children, a family to take care of, and you're participating in a family, a working family, perspectives and observations change and they mature. And those of you that are in those circumstances understand that, man, if you had just half your mortgage paid every single month, how much would that be off your back? That's all I'm suggesting here as a beginning point. It might be your full mortgage that you can pull out. But if you get anything that's not having to come out of your pocket from your job or your earned income, and you're having a secondary income from this, and I'm not promising it's going to happen for you, because this all relies on you doing it. But I'm trying to put the mindset together for you so that way you go in with the right perspective, because you have a skill set now. You have a model. It works, folks. Nobody's going to be able to come up here anywhere on social media, call me out. Call me out. I'm right here on Twitter. I can't hide from any comments. Everybody can talk to me. But you come to me with some stupid shit, I'm blocking you. But tell me what I'm doing is wrong, or show me what you got is better. Outline it beforehand. Don't just say, here's what I did yesterday. Here's the trades I took. Don't buy into that bullshit. You are here to learn how to trade. You've been taught. But now you need to know how to engage as a trader. So what do you start doing? You don't go out there going nuts. Don't think, I'm going to go out here and just kill it. Do the maximum effort. No. Reserved effort. Low-hanging fruit objectives. Don't try to do more than it's reasonable for you, because you're just now learning. You just got this weapon in your hands. You have to learn how to clean it, store it, carry it, and not blow your head off. Because that's what most people do. I had a lot of good, meaning folks come through, pay me too, all the way up to month 11, and stop because they didn't want to listen. Not everybody quit because they couldn't afford it. They just didn't want to listen. They know themselves. So why make that last payment, that charter member payment, because they just can't do it? Okay, they know themselves better than I do. But there's a lot of you that know yourselves better than I do and know that you want this. And you know that you have everything in your being is telling you you're going to do this. And ain't nobody out there going to tell you that you're not. That's my audience right now. That's who I'm talking to.